But yeah, I do see both Junkrats now, so this is what I expect. What about you, JJ? Anything you've noticed?
Yeah, I mean, at the very least, these teams have gone straight through. I imagine they've got their mentalities locked in. They might have gone through at least one Koth going through here. And yeah, a refreshing pool. I don't like going straight through a bunch of Koth. Either way, like you said, we're going to be seeing double Junkrats coming out here, as well as Reinhardt's, I imagine, to just hit off that initial burst that comes through as both teams come here in white, and they're fighting it off as best they can. Both of them doing as much damage as it can, and it looks like right now Barbaric Dusk go. Actually, no, yes, Barbaric Dusk losing their Reinhardt as his shield goes down. A little bit harder. Both teams trying their best to do as much damage as possible. Both Junkrats hitting every corner as right now Barbaric Dusk going off the corner and able to take out Shadows. One DPS down, one tank down, going for Synsia as they might be backing up here. Right now Barbaric Dusk already has the point, and yes, Barbaric Dusk taking the advantage up at the beginning.
Well, they do take the advantage, but they are down a few right now. That D.Va is going to have to respawn. That Synsia might want to take advantage here. You know, now that D.Va, I think they do realize that. They're going to get onto the point rather somewhat quickly while D.Va is still trying to get there.
Yeah, I don't blame them.
Yeah, this is okay from Barbaric Dust. I think they realize that they are down a person and would have to kind of let them have the point. But now they're going to have a more even team fight. And as I say that, no longer even. Getting things started.
Yeah, Barbaric doing a huge double kill off of its tire, as well as Synsia also getting a good kill off theirs. D.Va ult coming down. Looks like Tony went down as well. Rem doing his best to bring his team back, and it looks like Synsia is able to do a good. No, Barbaric Dust still doing their hold as best as they can, not losing too much. Their ultimates, I felt, did a lot more work than Synsia did that round.
Well, I think having that D.Va really helps. You know, I mean, you know, since that defensive matrix nerf, a lot of D.Vas have really struggled. They can't just spam the defensive matrix. But I think Pure is doing a pretty good job. He's been using it very resourceful, using it very economically. He is playing a little bit too aggressive sometimes. He's getting out of that mech a lot.
Yeah, I mean, and beautiful we're coming out here. I mean, right now Barbaric had to waste a few ultimates, but the I suppose the technicalities that they're using. He realized that the Reinhardt was going to go straight through, and he earth shatters a majority of them, but it just wasn't enough. DPS do enough damage through, and it looks like Synsia has the point at this point. 70% off of Barbaric, and there's still a good amount of time for them to hold as they're using their ultimates. Just give them a little bit percentage here.
Well, this is what you got to do when you're down big time percentage-wise. They're going to kind of... Looks like they're trying to like whittle them away, one kill at a time, stagger them out, take as much time off of those spawns as they want. Playing very aggressively here up on Blender. I mean, this is what you got to do in this part of Lijiang, but normally you don't see it from a team that just got the point back. Normally they work their way back, but they are playing very aggressively. They know they want this Blender part. That Riptire will open things up.
Yeah, and Jay Sugar opens it up initially, taking out Tony. Valkyrie is up, so 10 seconds going for every res as both tanks do come back up. Right now, Barbaric is pushing in as hard as they can with that Reinhardt shield, staying nice and stalwart. Pushing up, damage is coming through, and the D.Va ult goes straight to the back, but does not get anybody. Both teams contesting each other as best as they can. Heals coming through as both Valkyries are up, but one did go down. Right now, Synsia is a little bit low on the heals, and Barbaric is able to heal out almost everybody without Valkyrie, and it looks like kills will be coming out on their ends as the sustain is on their side. Looks like Synsia is not going to have a good time right here.
Well, Synsia had the right idea. You saw a sad Tony back there in the back line very early, popped the Valkyrie, but instead they kind of just left Tony out to dry. They kind of backed up towards the point while Tony was still kind of in that Blender area once after getting rezzed. All it is just going to feed enemy team ults and it's just going to die again, which is exactly what happened. I don't think Tony appreciated that much.
Yeah, and it's strange amount of damage coming through as Synsia just put a Zarya ultimate down, but they're not able to get much out of it. The Earth Shatter did get a good amount of the team, but damage could not come through as right now Pure is hosting a good amount of damage on the other side. Tac Visor comes out from JCB as he does hit a cross, and the timer goes straight through. The fight was good. I was concentrated on it, but I didn't even notice that it did hit 100%, and they do get a 1 over on Synsia.
Not paying attention to that clock. No one was even close. You know, you got to call out. Someone's got to touch it. No one was even close, like I said. But overall, there's some coordination issues with the supports, like I said. Seems like SAD is kind of recklessly rezzing people. And, you know, I really don't complain about it that much because, I mean, I'm always a believer of if you got that res, if you got that ability, use it. But there comes a time where it's just genuinely not a good idea, simply because you're just going to end up dying again, and that's just going to feed the enemy ult. I think I saw that at least twice when Synsia was trying to defend that blender point. I brought up Tony on the Reinhardt. There was also a couple other tanks right there, especially tanks. That is a lot of health that you are feeding the enemy team. Wise, it's a lot of health that they're able to whittle through and get some ult charge.
Yeah, I actually never. Interesting. I never thought about it that way. Either way, both teams pushing in on the point, and like you said, Rez is coming through, but they are being taken down immediately. Barbaric does seem to have a little bit of an advantage here, but JCB does go down, and with that, the damage, and Synsia is able to get the advantage up in Barbaric Dust, finally getting the first point here on night market. Hopefully, it's night market. Jesus Christ.
Yes, this is night market. Yep, you.
Come on, I need to know these maps. No, but yeah, Synsia does get this point, and they were able to get that little bit extra. It looks like those tempo reses actually helped them out rather than detracting from them. They do have a little bit of ult over, and it looks like they're going to be getting them first as they're whittling up, turtling back onto the point to see where they're going to attack.
Yeah, Boyle did a great job. He actually sacrificed positioning to get some environmental kills. That's one of the very few times you want to do that. The first team fight of a point, because that'll set the rhythm. It's okay if you got to take that death if you make sure you get the point. And that's exactly what Synsia did. I think that's really going to help them right here. You know, they're kind of in a rhythm right now. They got the first cap. They're just kind of rolling here.
Yeah, not a
Barbaric Dusk off track.
Yeah, not a bad rhythm either. I mean, they're moving together. They're turtling together. Clearly, they're using the team that they have and using it against the enemy. Barbaric does try to do a two-person attack off to the side, and they went 5 against 2. Right now, Barrage coming out up top, but it was a little too high. Not enough effectiveness up there, shooting from the sky. I wonder if they were trying to get Monkey there, but Shadows is able to get Diva there, and it looks like that's going to stagger Barbaric's attack. Already hitting 70%. This is a good lead for Synsia.
Really is. There's some ults coming up for Barbaric, though, and when I say some, I mean basically every single one, actually. But there's some ults on the side of Synsia as well, so this could be a bloodbath team fight that we're in for. You know, everyone just pops their ults, so it's going to be up to who can use them more economically and more kind of patterned, if you know what I'm saying. Use them just not all at once.
Yes, all ultimates come out. Barrage, Diva ultimate, Reaper Beyblade going everywhere. Synsia does come out on top, though, as they only lost one person and the res comes through. Barbaric putting down the Lucio barrier, but only tanks and JCB on here. Not enough damage to come through as JCB does go down immediately. The tanks still coming through. Barrage already coming out from Foil, even though he had to avoil after he used it at the beginning, and already hitting overtime. They're trying to do their best. Monkey ultimate coming out to just tank it a little bit, and one of the tanks from Barbaric is still going through. Pure trying to do the best damage that he can, and he did go down. Oh, Jesus Christ, I didn't even see him go down. Ah, Shadows took them both out, Monkey and Farah, and that does give a point over to Synsia. So clearly they do have a type of they know what they're doing. They've got some synergy going here, and they can clearly go against Barbaric Dust.
Down the stream when the admin said, yeah, this has really been impressive. Completely different team, I think I saw. Maybe it really does come down to that first team fight. Maybe both teams, now this is the third map, they're just going to kind of realize that, hey, you know, it's 1-1. You know, when, you know, Barbaric Dust has to be thinking, you know, if Synsia gets that first point, they really get into a rhythm that's unstoppable. So maybe you try and pour a lot more effort into this first team fight, whereas, you know, before it was just kind of a frag fest, kind of a each team feel each other out. But I think it really needs to come down to a lot more effort here. So we'll see what does happen. If either team takes that to heart, or perhaps this is just gonna be another frag fest right here on Garden.
As both teams come together, and it looks like both of them getting good impacts off the back. One DPS does go down, no res seen coming out from him. Shadows is taken out immediately. Who needs that Widowmaker when you have a sharp shooting Farah out in the back? But both teams getting good hits between each other. Right now, both of them almost equal, as right now Synsia does seem to have a more tanky advantage here. Hitting up in the front line, already Monkey ultimate coming down, and the health is just, it drastically changed. Barbaric losing people slowly, and it looks like they will be staggering this point as best they can. They want that first bit of percentage coming through, as both teams have their reinforcements staggering straight through, pushing in. Right now, JCB taken out by Boyle as he's hitting out on the outer edges of the point, trying to take out the best priority targets. Little damage coming out right now from Barbaric Dust as they're losing their key DPS.
Losing everything.
Yeah.
Do it.
And that's going to give them the initial point. And from what we've seen so far, chances are we're going to hit straight pretty hard to probably a good 30%. And we'll see if maybe Barbaric has changed up their forms of attacks, knowing that maybe not waste too much time at the beginning. We'll see.
Well, here's the thing, Synsia, I complained about their coordination between their supports and the rest of their team, and when you're defending, that defect, I guess you could say, is a lot less noticeable because it's a little bit easier to defend when you maybe don't have as good supports, if you know what I'm saying. Like, to attack, your supports really need to be on, your Lucio really needs to be on the same page with the team, knowing when to speed boost, when to heal. Same thing with the Mercy, when to damage boost. When you're defending, you don't really need, the Lucio can kind of lay back a little bit more. He doesn't need to speed boost all the time. He can more just keep it on heal, try and do some DPS. So I think that's why Synsia is really having some good time here on the defense, and they are just whittling Barbaric away. No, as I was talking, just the team fight was over before it started. The barrage.
Yeah, the barrage is just coming straight through. Yeah, Pure hitting up on the back is right now Boyo goes to the front, getting a whole quadruple kill, not even allowing them to go forward. Right now, Barbaric holding up a bit. I imagine they're looking for a point of attack, maybe a type of ultimate to use a strategy, as they are coming up a little bit low, but 70% already hitting up here. Valkyrie popping out for Synsia as they're going to be healing the team as best they can. The tanks in the background trying to hit as best they can, but the sustain is too hard. Monkey going to the front, attacking as best as they can against the DPS. Fair Barrage going inside the point when it comes to Synsia, but he does go down, not getting as much as possible as probably wanted. Both Valkyries are up, so reses do come through, and both teams almost staggering each other on kills. Tracer Bomb comes down and is able to take out Monkey. Diva Bomb heading down, but the shield does block it. Everything coming out here as we are about to hit overtime, and Synsia is going to get that overtime advantage here. Barbaric a little bit low on people as they only have 3, being pushed off, hit all the way off. Diva losing her mech right now. Ram trying his best to heal. No Valkyrie though, as he does go down. No sustain coming off this point. The DPS are still alive on Synsia as they're taking out as many people as they can. Shadows in the background hitting them without even them realizing it, as everyone's just concentrating on the point. Overtime hitting 25%, and there it is, 2-0 going for Synsia as they do win. 2-1, yeah, sorry. No, it was definitely contested, not that easy. Synsia getting a 2-1, winning this Legion map, and there will be going off to King's Row.
Yeah, like I said, overall, I still saw a couple of the mistakes. I saw a couple Mercy reses that, again, were not exactly safe. Maybe did feed. I saw that Winston one there at the end. But, you can't argue with the results, and you can't argue with the W. So, overall, Synsia just was able to come through. Like I said, I think specifically when it comes to the team support coordination that I picked on, like I said, it is a lot easier when you're defending because you have a kind of a sphere of influence that you can kind of come back to if you're a tank or a DPS or anyone. You can kind of come back to that point and get healed a little bit easier. Whereas when you're attacking, there is no 100% safe area, you know what I'm saying, without completely retreating off of the front line. So I think it does get tough, for supports when they're trying to make their own area, make their own space when they're attacking. So I think that's maybe what the Synsia Esports support struggled with. But, when they're defending, I think they were just fine.
Yeah, agreed.
Noticeable. That's the point.
Yeah, and I think both of these teams are very close when it comes to skill level, almost. The momentum was clearly on Barbaric for that first match. They were pushing straight through, and they held their momentum. They held that advantage. But now it's almost changed. Now that Synsia finally has, like you said, they may be a little bit worse for wear in certain areas. So here they've clearly found their niche, but we will be moving off to King's Row now. So maybe that change will be exactly what either team needs. Synsia to take the full-on advantage, or Barbaric to take up one map on them.
Yeah, it seems Synsia likes to play very clumped up, very kind of as a band together. So I think that'll help them on payload. The payload does offer a little bit of healing. So overall, I think if they try and play this more congested kind of stick together kind of coordination type style attack, it'll really help them. That's going to be on Barbaric Dusk to pick up, hey, what kind of counters that kind of congested play style that they're doing. Zarya, Reinhardt, or maybe even a Winston. More heavier heroes, more tanky type works, especially the Zarya, because you can clump them up with that Graviton Surge. I think that's what they're realizing right here. We have J Sugar, on the Zarya. Sticking
Yeah.
with that.
Yeah, and again, to those people out there joining us, thank you so much for joining us and sticking around for the Cow Premiere. Premier Monthly, sorry, as we do have both teams, Synsia and Barbaric Dusk, going against each other as we are on game 3 here, almost up until the end. See, game 2, technically game 3 with the initial forfeit.
Oh, okay.
I suppose. Right. Yeah, okay. Sorry. Yeah, that's why I was like, why do I feel like that's wrong to say game 3? But yes, there was an initial forfeit, so we're already in game 3. Teams going out here facing each other in this single elimination matches. Right now, we do have same colors, so Synsia will be on the defense and Barbaric Dusk going for that initial attack.
Yeah, I see that's a typical kind of King's Row kind of thing. Arya Reinhardt, you really want those heavy hitters, high health, kind of crowd control type tanks on King's Row, because it does get a little congested for this first point, especially around the statue and hotel areas, not a lot of high ground. The Reaper, that's a little interesting. Don't really see that too often.
Yeah, they might not like tanks too crazy. To a person already taken down and immediately rezzed on the defensive side, as right now they're going to be going straight for that type of Hanzo play. Voyo going straight in. It was a little bit of surprise, just going straight up on the Pharah, taking him out and then just shifting out. Pretty good strategy coming out there, as they do have the potential to just move straight out, straight back into their team. Right now they did have both teams kind of low on the res, probably 15 seconds left, and both of them kind of staggering, but the Hanzo is doing a good amount of damage. They're already 94%. He's about to get his dragons out. 95. That is probably going to be the niche of their attack. Voyo taking out Hanzo though on JCB. He does shift. So right now, no DPS coming through. As Valkyrie already coming out. Shadows taking out Pure, taking out Garms, and I believe that's going to be Barbaric Dust's attack there, as they do back away, or they lose everyone actually.
Oh, it's just so pivotal when you have this Zarya with the Reinhardt. You know, I think that has to be on Barbaric Dust. You know, you have to realize that Zarya is waiting to just get enough energy for the defense to push through. That's why it kind of took a while for the defense to kind of come out of the backside of Hotel. Eventually, though, and Hulan got enough energy and they were able to push through rather easily.
Yeah, and Tony just using the trick of all tricks, the first trick in the book, just hitting him off of the side. Right now, Pure tried to take out Shadows, and he actually did, as the team is pushing up as best they can. Earth Shatter, Fair Barrage down for the defensive team, and Zarya ultimate put down for the defense, though, as they have all the enemy put together, but almost no damage coming through. Zarya ultimate coming out from the enemy team, but Zenyatta ultimate is put down to sustain. Both these teams using exactly what they need to contest against the enemy. Right now, the attack does have the advantage here when it comes to, I suppose, presence, as they do almost have the first Chevron here. But reses are coming through, and it looks like Lucio Barrier is just going to set it in as more health comes through. A perfect shield coming from Garms, taking out Tony's Earth Shatter. He does go down, that being Tony. As damage is coming through, but both Reinhardt's down right now. Another Zarya ultimate coming out. Just the amount of damage coming out from both these teams, able to get their ultimates so fast, and it looks like Barbaric Dust is holding the point right now. We'll see if Synsia might go back for an attack, but it doesn't look likely. Yes, as they're going to be getting ready at Bookstore for the next phase. Barbaric Dust pushing to phase 2.
Oh man, gotta get that Mercy, Barbaric Dust. You know, Sad at one point was charged, but then there was this Zenyatta trance, so she lived through that. She was hit with a hammer at least 4 or 5 times on point, and somehow lives. I guess, you know, the Zenyatta trance and then the Harmony Orb. You just can't give up. You know, after Reinhardt died, they just gave up on trying to kill Sad on the Mercy. You know, Barbaric Dust does eventually get the point, but it took so much more time, because Sad was just continuously healing people through, you know, that kind of tank damage that Barbaric Dust was trying to put down. That is unfortunate, you know, when you do have that Zarya and Reinhardt. They do a lot of damage, but it's very slow. So if you have a Mercy on the enemy team, they can usually heal through. So you just can't give up when you're depending on your tanks to get those kind of kills.
Yeah, agree. As JCB is trying to hold on to his ultimate right now. It looks like they're looking for the perfect moment. Again, another Earth Shatter hit out. Actually, Garms this time, hold out by Tony. Zarya ultimate put down, but no dragons seen, as all they needed was that Zarya ultimate. Double kill coming out from JCB just from straight accuracy. And looks like he's going to be holding on to his ultimate, and that's a potential snowball coming at the end of phase 2. That's not bad. I was expecting the dragons coming out there, but it looks like he's going to be prepping for that next point. And honestly, it's not a bad save. This probably is the hardest spot to kind of contest in phase 2.
Yeah, I think this is kind of a break for Synsia right here, just the timing. The next team fight they're going to have is that dreaded, oh.
Dragon, as it does come
Interesting
through.
Start. I guess they're trying to...
Yeah, as it goes straight to the enemy team and they just move out of the way. No, thank you. But they are having a little bit of time going forward and contesting the R though, and no,
they got off.
But they got off the point. The most beautiful Earth Shatter scene of probably the entire team was down, but they were contesting it and they go straight onto phase 3. That's horrible. It's like, I got an amazing Earth Shatter. Nope.
Yeah, that was fine. You know, Shadows was there with the Deadeye. He got a couple kills with it. You know, that's a great combo always. Earth Shatter plus Deadeye. You know, everyone's down on the ground. That's easy kills for Shadows on the McCree. But gotta keep someone on that payload. I think, you know, I was about to scold, you know, JCB kind of starting off with those dragons, but I think that kind of messed up the rhythm of Synsia. You know, they planned to go straight up the middle, kind of just start off with that Earth Shatter, you know, be very blunt about it, but the dragons kind of made them go off to the sides. They had to really think about things. They had to kind of shift themselves into maybe not a perfect position.
Yeah, agreed. As Zarya ultimate's coming down, Lucio Barry coming down. It's not enough though. With that Zarya ultimate putting together and the damage coming through, it took him out. All that's left is Garms, and he does go down, stopping the push coming out from Barbaric. They did save a majority of their ultimates though. All they put down was Lucio Barrier, which is significant. Actually, they might have also put Zenyatta ultimate down. That's interesting. But either way, both support ultimates down. They do have DPS ultimates, so that's not bad considering that the attack is really what they need to concentrate on right now.
Yeah, Synsia, that was very expensive. They're down to 2 ults right now, and that Mercy getting down early.
Oh, and the secret Earth Shatter again coming up for Tony. They need to learn. Either way, Shadows, and it's just taking out the Pharaoh the moment her ultimate comes through. No percentage coming through there from them, as there is a staggered fight here, though both of them staggering almost evenly. The DPS out in the back still dealing good amount of damage, but the tanks taking out the people in the front line. Reses are coming through. Tony putting Garms all the way to the back, and it looks like he's going to be taken out as well, and that doesn't look like a good push coming out from Barbaric. Close though, very close, but they're falling for the simplest trick in the book, I have to say.
Yeah, that I thought that was all Barbaric. They had double the amount of ults that Synsia had. They had 4 or 5. They got the Mercy sad very early. So that was going to be it for Barbaric, but instead Synsia plays it beautifully. They know they don't have the ult advantage, so they get a little cheeky, like you said. Secret Rhine behind the payload. It's a nice charge kill onto Rhine that burns the res. They're gonna Reinhardt's able to shield a Pharah barrage. Transcendence will heal them through the barrage and the dragons. And then they just whittled away every ult Barbaric Dusk had and made the most out of the only 2 they had. Absolutely textbook from Synsia, and they're gonna do it again right here.
Yeah, as they just pull out Zarya ultimates, they waited for them to congregate. It seemed like JCB was in that situation right there, waiting for them to get together to shoot out the dragons. Not enough. Got enough damage on Garms, but once they push forward to take advantage of that Zarya ultimate down, the rest of the team taken out from Barbaric Dust, as they are pushed back. 40 seconds left, and we might be seeing only 1 or 2 more engagements coming out from them.
I mean, this has completely swung into the favor of Synsia. They got the spawn advantage. Now they're gonna slowly gain the ult advantage here. They're gonna have 4 to, and now they're gonna burn that res already. JCB on the Widow. I don't know, what is this Widow doing? This is that's a tough sight line. No, he's on the ground trying to shoot at people on the high ground. I don't know how much value he's going to get.
Yeah, but J Sugar is going after him as best as they can, as the DPS are in the back. The tanks are fighting in the front line. Both Valkyries coming out as both JCB and Shadows are trying their best. Shadows does take out J Sugar and JCB. Who cares about a Genji and a Widowmaker going against you? I can take them both out, he says, as he pushes up, and it looks like the defense is going very well. All that's left is a Valkyrie and a tank. Actually, both tanks right now. An Earthshatter comes out, but nothing coming out from Garms, which we're normally used to seeing, as he just hits no one with that Earthshatter. Synsia doing God's work here with the amount of damage going through, as they just take out everyone on the point, and it looks like they will not be able to complete phase 3.
Yeah, I think that just goes to show you should, a team fight is never over. Well, I shouldn't say that. I should correct yourself. Always take every team fight seriously, because like I said, it goes back to that at about minute and 30. Barbaric Dusk was looking good. They had double the amount of ults as Synsia. They got the Mercy down very early in that specific team fight. It was a 6v5 with no Mercy for Synsia. Barbaric Dusk, they grab, they get at least 4 of them. But it came down to, you got to remember your basics. They weren't paying attention. Tony on the Rhine was able to have that hiding Reinhardt charge, got Garms, the enemy Reinhardt, down, burned the res for Barbaric, and they over-ulted. You saw the Zarya grab. They used Barrage and Dragons on that grab, and even all that damage still wasn't enough, simply because Reinhardt had that shield, and who was on the Zenyatta? Zuzanic had that Transcendence, healed them through all of that, believe it or not, the Barrage and the Dragons. And that was it. Barbaric didn't have anything left. They were out of ults. Synsia had the spawns. Mercy had come back at that time. It was over for them, and that really ruined their rhythm, I think.
Yeah.
Really rolling before that happened.
And that's what I feel right now, that coming out from Barbaric is that rhythm. That rhythm doesn't, it feels like all of a sudden it's almost like a musical piece. It's going beautifully. And then the moment they mess up, they can never bring it back. It's just awkward. And I suppose right now, Synsia is the heckler in the crowd. They're taking advantage of the people that just can't bring it back, bring back that beauty, that synergy. And right now it's doing work for them. Right now, Synsia up one map, and they do have an advantage up there, considering that they don't have to push the point all too far. They don't have to worry about that respawn advantage too much up into the end, since they do have a little bit of leeway up in phase 3. But we'll see.
Now, hold on. Anyone else looking at this comp right here?
As we saw Juice. 5 tanks. I saw and the quick push.
Here they come, the Lucio speed boost. We're just gonna watch this. We're just gonna watch this. 5 tank.
Hearing it from Fives, the 5 tank meta coming through, as there's too much HP to go through. Damage coming out, Annihilin. Just look at that charge. Look at those left clicks, decimating the enemy team. They're trying their best. The 5 tank meta, ladies and gentlemen. Exactly, Fives. Surprisingly effective.
Now that is all Zuzanic right there. He's got the speed boosts were perfectly timed, went right through Hotel. I mean, shout out to the entire team. Everyone doing their thing, being coordinated, doing their part, They're actually pressing the W key with that Lucio. I know that sounds silly to say, but even at this level, it does get a little difficult, they get scared.
Yeah, I am shook.
Yeah, you're shook.
They switch so fast too. They're not memeing. This was a strategy, ladies and gentlemen. Do not think this is a meme as they switch immediately.
They're watching World Cup. They must have. South Korea probably did this. I missed it.
Yeah, the angles right now coming out from Boyo as he's hitting behind the Reinhardt shield. Zarya ultimate going immediately. Just the amount of damage he did at the beginning. Zarya ultimate, nothing. He got it so fast, putting down the enemy team. Already 4 kills going through, and they're already at the midway point. This is looking a little bit hard for Barbaric Dust. They need to get together as fast as they can to even contest it right now in phase 2.
Well, man, I was about to say, we kind of scolded Barbaric Dust for not doing so well, but they pushed it quite far. But this pace is incredible right here. We are more than 4.5 minutes right here going to this. This is the last team fight for this first section right here. If they can't do anything here, they're going to be sitting on almost 6 minutes. And look at that Earth Shatter. It's going to get that Zarya.
Coming out from the back. Not enough damage, though. Reinhardt did have his shield up, but he is down, though. So no shield coming out. No res coming through as they are holding the sustain as best they can. Earthshatter wasted on Zarya ultimate coming down from Barbaric Dust, but the Junkrat tire taking out Zarya and the DPS. Coming out from Barbaric Dust. They do have their Zarya back here, though. A choice, I suppose, in contention as they're doing their best. The sustain is coming out from the Mercy, but she Guardian Angeled herself into a corner. She is down. No sustain coming out for Barbaric Dust, as this is looking a little troubling for them. 5 people on the point, and they do finish that phase 2.
5 minutes and 15 seconds. This is an incredible.
And not even to push it to the end. All they got to do is push it to where Barbaric Dust pushed it.
Barbaric Dust, they are looking for something. There are no ults coming up for them whatsoever. No one's even close. The spawn advantage is probably the only thing they can bank on right now. We got 4 or 5 ults coming up to the side of Synsia. This is going to be brutal. They got to figure out something. Maybe try and get creative, kind of like Synsia did. Hide the Reinhardt behind somewhere. Get a cheeky charge.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe go with a different comp. As I'm saying this, it's slowly kills are coming out for Synsia.
Degrading,
This could be it,
degrading as the Zarya ultimate pins them to the back. The damage comes through. They're trying their best to sustain, but the Valkyrie is just too much. Synsia just slowly, manipulatively, disruptively pushing them straight through, disintegrating them as they're able to push the point up until the end, finishing this map. Synsia 2-0 in maps, and that pushes them forward in a Cow Premier Monthly, as this is single elimination. They do get 2 maps up on them, and they do win this one. And look, we just see the straight damage coming out from Annihilin.
Well, whatever adjective you want to use, annihilated, decimated, destroyed, disintegrated. I know you said that one.